Alert! The number one mistake everyone makes when buying canned tuna. Did you know that canned tuna can be a dangerous poison for your brain if consumed the wrong way? Have you ever wondered why some cans of tuna are cheaper than others? Or why there are so many different types of tuna on the shelves? And the most important question, do you know which type might be filling your body with mercury without you even realizing it? Could that tuna sandwich you love be slowly harming your health? Today, I'm going to reveal a secret that the food industry doesn't want you to know. Not all tuna is the same. And this difference could be silently affecting your health. But that's not all. I will also point out the 4 biggest mistakes people make when eating tuna, especially canned tuna, without realizing the hidden risks. And of course, I'll share crucial tips to help you enjoy this food the right way. Want to learn more? Stay with me until the end of this article to make sure you're getting all the nutrients from tuna without worrying about harming your health. I bet that after reading this, you'll never look at a can of tuna the same way again. What is mercury and where does it come from? Many people have been eating tuna for decades, but we may not fully understand the mercury present in this food. Let's explore this issue in detail. Mercury is a heavy metal naturally found in the Earth's crust, but due to industrial development, large amounts of this element have been released into the air over time through activities like coal burning and mining. There are 2 types of mercury we need to worry about: inorganic mercury and methyl mercury. When industries burn coal, inorganic mercury is emitted into the environment, which then falls into rivers, lakes, and oceans. In low oxygen environments, certain bacteria in the sediment transform inorganic mercury into methyl mercury, which is far more toxic. Methyl mercury then enters the aquatic food chain, first being absorbed by tiny organisms like plankton and small crustaceans, followed by smaller fish, and eventually larger fish like tuna. This explains why large predatory fish like tuna accumulate high levels of mercury over their lifetimes. That's why we need to be cautious about consuming certain types of tuna, especially if we have health concerns related to the nervous or cardiovascular systems. Why does tuna contain high levels of mercury? Tuna is a migratory fish that can swim thousands of miles across the ocean. Their diet varies depending on the species and where they swim, but it usually consists of crustaceans and smaller fish. This is where the problem lies. If tuna live in an area where these smaller creatures have been contaminated by methyl mercury, tuna will become contaminated too. Methyl mercury is not easily eliminated from the tuna's body. Instead, it accumulates like a box that keeps adding things but rarely removes any. The more contaminated prey tuna eats throughout its life, the more this toxic metal builds up in its body. While tuna can eliminate a small portion of the mercury it absorbs, it never removes it all. Some parts of its body store significant amounts of this metal. When we, at the top of the food chain, eat contaminated tuna, we also consume that accumulated methyl mercury, which over time can lead to serious health consequences. That's why doctors and nutritionists recommend eating tuna in moderation, especially for young children and pregnant women, as they are more vulnerable to the harmful effects of this metal. The biggest mistakes when eating canned tuna. Before you open your next can of tuna, you need to understand these important points. 1. Canned tuna may contain mercury. Canned tuna is a common food in many households, but few people know that if the wrong type is chosen or consumed carelessly, tuna can pose a risk to health, particularly to the brain. The main reason is a harmful substance called mercury. Mercury is a heavy metal that can accumulate in the body over time and cause serious health consequences, especially to the nervous and cardiovascular systems. Therefore, understanding mercury and how it enters the tuna food chain is extremely important. Mercury naturally exists in the Earth's crust, but due to industrial development, particularly through coal burning and mining, large amounts of mercury have been released into the air. These metals, after falling to the ground, gradually dissolve into water and accumulate in rivers, lakes, and oceans. Once inorganic mercury enters water environments, bacteria at the bottom of rivers and oceans convert it into methyl mercury, a highly toxic form of mercury. Methyl mercury then enters the aquatic food chain, starting from small organisms like plankton and crustaceans, moving on to smaller fish, and eventually to large fish like tuna. Tuna is one of the large migratory fish that swims thousands of miles across the oceans. Their diet consists of smaller fish and crustaceans, which is the reason why tuna accumulates very high levels of mercury in their bodies. Methyl mercury is not easily removed from tuna's body, on the contrary. It accumulates gradually like a box that never gets emptied. This results in large predatory fish like tuna containing significant amounts of mercury in their bodies. When we consume these fish, we unknowingly ingest the mercury that has accumulated in their bodies, which harms human health. Furthermore, tuna, like other predatory fish, has a relatively long lifespan, and throughout their lives, they continue to eat small fish that have been contaminated with mercury, causing the mercury levels in their bodies to rise over time. While tuna can eliminate a small portion of the mercury from its body, the mercury continues to accumulate, especially in organs such as the liver and kidneys. This creates a potential danger for those who consume tuna, as we are eating at the top of the food chain. Frequent consumption of tuna, especially larger types like albacore, can lead to a substantial accumulation of mercury in the body, directly affecting the health of the nervous, cardiovascular, and other systems. Therefore, nutritionists and doctors recommend eating tuna in moderation, especially for young children and pregnant women, as they are more vulnerable to the harmful effects of mercury. Thus, before eating tuna, it is important to thoroughly research the source and type of tuna you buy to avoid the risk of mercury consumption, thereby protecting your health effectively. 2. What is mercury? Mercury is a naturally occurring heavy metal found in the Earth's crust. But industrial development has led to the release of large amounts of mercury into the environment through activities such as coal burning and mining. Over time, this mercury disperses into the air, soil, and water, causing significant environmental pollution. When inorganic mercury enters water environments, it gradually gets transformed by bacteria in rivers, lakes, and oceans into a more toxic form called methyl mercury. Methyl mercury is highly dangerous and can accumulate in the bodies of marine animals, especially large fish like tuna. When methyl mercury enters the water environment, it begins its journey through the aquatic food chain. First, small organisms like plankton and crustaceans absorb methyl mercury. These organisms are then eaten by smaller fish, which are, in turn, consumed by larger fish such as tuna, causing tuna to accumulate mercury in their bodies over time. This process creates a mercury food chain that extends from the smallest organisms to tuna, the largest fish at the top of the chain. This explains why tuna, a large, long-living predatory fish, contains much higher levels of mercury than smaller fish. One particularly important point is that methyl mercury is not easily eliminated from the bodies of fish. It accumulates in the body of the tuna like a toxin that cannot be fully expelled. While tuna can eliminate a small amount of mercury, the mercury levels in their bodies continue to rise over time. This causes tuna, especially large species like albacore, to accumulate significant amounts of mercury throughout their lives. This is why doctors and nutritionists warn that eating too much tuna can be harmful to your health. When humans consume tuna, especially large species, we inadvertently ingest the mercury that has accumulated in the tuna's body. This methyl mercury can cause serious harm to the nervous system, cardiovascular system, and other organs in the body. Long-term mercury accumulation can lead to health issues such as cognitive decline, neurological disorders, and cardiovascular diseases, especially for children and pregnant women, who are more vulnerable. The effects of mercury can be even more severe. Therefore, tuna consumption should be closely monitored. Eating tuna regularly can inadvertently introduce a large amount of mercury into the body, increasing the risk of dangerous diseases. For this reason, nutritionists recommend eating tuna in moderation, especially for those with health issues or sensitive groups like children and pregnant women. It is important to have a clear understanding of the presence of mercury in tuna to make informed and safe dietary decisions for your health. 3. Types of tuna and mercury levels. Tuna is a popular and nutritious food, but not everyone is aware of the differences between the various types of tuna and how these differences can affect our health, especially regarding the mercury levels in each type. One of the biggest mistakes when eating tuna is not recognizing the differences between tuna species. There are 3 main types of tuna on the market today, each with varying mercury levels, and this can have a direct impact on consumer health. Skipjack tuna, Katsuonis pelamis, is the most common type and is often labeled simply as tuna on cans. This type of tuna is the safest choice for regular consumption. Skipjack tuna is smaller, living about 2 to 3 years, and therefore accumulates very little mercury in its body. The mercury level in skipjack tuna is only around 0.12 parts per million, which is very low compared to other types of tuna. So, if you want to enjoy tuna regularly without worrying about mercury levels, skipjack is the ideal choice. On the other hand, yellowfin tuna, Tunus albicares, has some notable differences. Yellowfin tuna lives longer, ranging from 7 to 10 years, and grows larger than skipjack. As a result, yellowfin tuna accumulates more mercury, with levels around 0.35 parts per million, nearly 3 times higher than skipjack. While still safe to eat, consuming yellowfin tuna in excess could lead to a significant mercury buildup in the body. Therefore, this type of tuna should be eaten in moderation, especially for those with weakened immune systems or sensitivity to heavy metals. Albacore tuna, despite being an excellent source of protein, contains the highest levels of mercury among the 3 types. Albacore tuna can have up to 0.50 parts per million of mercury, 3 times more than skipjack and nearly double that of yellowfin. Due to the high mercury content, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, recommend that consumers limit their intake of albacore, especially for young children, pregnant women, and those with existing health issues. While albacore tuna is flavorful and has firm meat, consuming too much can negatively impact health, particularly by increasing the risk of neurological and cardiovascular diseases. Understanding the differences between types of tuna not only helps you choose the safest option but also allows you to manage your mercury exposure. If you still want to enjoy tuna without worrying about mercury risks, skipjack tuna is the top choice. Additionally, make it a habit to check the product labels and carefully read the information about the type of tuna in the can before buying. These habits will help you protect your health and enjoy the nutritional benefits of tuna safely and responsibly. One common mistake many people make when buying canned tuna is not paying attention to the product label before purchasing. This can lead to consuming tuna with high mercury levels, which can seriously affect your health. If you want to continue eating tuna without worrying about mercury, it is crucial to select the right product. Typically, if you don't read the label carefully, you may not know which type of tuna you are purchasing and could end up consuming a type of tuna with higher mercury content than you expect. An important detail to note when buying canned tuna is the brand and the information on the packaging. If the packaging simply states tuna, it is likely skipjack tuna, the type with the lowest mercury levels and safe for regular consumption. However, if the label reads light tuna or yellowfin, the mercury levels in the product could be significantly higher. Specifically, yellowfin tuna can have mercury levels as high as 0.35 parts per million, 3 times that of skipjack, and should be consumed with moderation. To get a clearer idea of which type of tuna is in the can, many brands today are more transparent in disclosing the type of tuna used in their products. You can check the ingredients list on the label to know exactly which type of tuna is in the can you're about to buy. This may take a few seconds, but it is extremely important because it helps you make an informed decision and choose a type of tuna with lower mercury content. Protecting your health and your family's well-being. If the packaging doesn't provide clear information, you can search for this information on the manufacturer's website, where they often update product details, including the type of tuna, mercury levels, and other quality information. Besides choosing the right type of tuna, another important tip is not to rely entirely on canned tuna as your daily food source. Although tuna is an excellent protein source and contains essential nutrients like omega-3, you should diversify your food sources to reduce the risk of mercury accumulation in your body. Rotate between different types of tuna and lower mercury fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These types of fish are not only safer but also provide many health benefits, especially for cardiovascular health and brain function. Additionally, pay attention to how you prepare tuna. Properly draining the excess liquid from the can, such as the water or oil, will also help reduce the mercury content in your dish. Using tuna that has been thoroughly drained will minimize your exposure to heavy metals and other contaminants. In summary, to protect your health, It is crucial to read the product label carefully and select the right type of tuna with low mercury levels. Be sure to check the label. Choose skipjack tuna or other fish with lower mercury content. And always ensure that your diet is diverse to minimize potential risks. 4. Mistakes when buying canned tuna. One common mistake many people make when buying canned tuna is not paying attention to reading the product label carefully. This can cause you to accidentally consume tuna with high mercury levels, which can seriously affect your health. If you want to continue eating tuna without worrying about mercury, selecting the right product is crucial. Typically, if you don't read the label carefully, you won't know which type of tuna you are buying, and you might be consuming a type with more mercury than you expect. An important detail to consider when buying canned tuna is the brand and information on the packaging. If the label simply says, tuna, it is likely skipjack tuna, the type with the least mercury and safest for regular consumption. However, if the packaging says, light tuna, or yellowfin, the mercury levels in the product could be much higher. Specifically, yellowfin tuna can have mercury levels up to 0.35 parts per million, 3 times higher than skipjack, so it should be consumed in moderation. To get more clarity about the type of tuna in the can, some brands today are more transparent in disclosing information, especially about the type of tuna used in the product. You can check the ingredients on the label to know exactly which type of tuna is in the can you're about to purchase. This may take a few seconds, but it's extremely important because it helps you make an informed decision in choosing a lower mercury type of tuna, thus protecting the health of you and your family. If the packaging doesn't provide clear information, you can find this information on the manufacturer's website, where they often update details about the product, including the type of tuna, mercury levels, and other relevant quality information. In addition to choosing the right type of tuna, another important tip is not to rely entirely on canned tuna in your daily diet. Although tuna is an excellent source of protein and contains many nutrients like omega-3, you should also diversify your food sources to minimize the risk of mercury accumulation in the body. Switch between different types of tuna and other lower mercury fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These fish are not only safer but also provide many health benefits, especially for cardiovascular and brain health. Additionally, you should pay attention to how you prepare tuna. Properly draining the excess liquid from the can, such as water or oil, will also help reduce the mercury content in your dish. Using tuna that has been thoroughly drained will minimize your exposure to heavy metals and other contaminants. In conclusion, to protect your health, it's crucial to read product labels carefully and choose the right type of tuna with low mercury levels. Be sure to check the label, select skipjack tuna or other low mercury fish, and always ensure that your diet is varied to reduce potential risks. 5. Tuna in water or oil. When choosing canned tuna, one of the common questions consumers ask is whether to choose tuna in water or oil. While both are convenient and nutritious options, the differences between them can affect your health in different ways, especially concerning the mercury content and nutrients in the product. Tuna in water tends to retain more mercury compared to tuna in oil. This is because mercury is a fat-soluble metal, meaning it tends to bind to fat rather than in water. When tuna is canned in water, the mercury has no place to bind, so it remains in the fish, causing consumers to ingest higher levels of mercury when eating tuna in water. In contrast, tuna in oil contains a certain amount of fat that helps absorb and retain the mercury into the oil instead of in the fish. If you carefully drain the oil before eating, you will eliminate a significant portion of the mercury in the product, minimizing the risk of harmful effects on your health. Although tuna in oil helps eliminate mercury more effectively, this doesn't mean you should completely disregard concerns about mercury when consuming this type of tuna. The key issue is to properly drain the oil. For the best effect, you should open the can, pour out the oil, and use a spoon or lid to press down to squeeze out the excess oil. This significantly reduces the amount of mercury you may absorb from the meal. In addition to mercury, tuna in oil has other benefits, including providing more calories and beneficial nutrients. In particular, tuna in oil offers a large amount of omega-3 and vitamin D. Omega-3 is an essential fatty acid that is very beneficial for cardiovascular health and the nervous system, while vitamin D plays an important role in maintaining bone health and boosting immunity. Those who need more healthy fats, particularly those with a low-fat diet, will find tuna in oil to be a reasonable option. However, a significant downside of tuna in oil is that it contains more calories than tuna in water. If you are controlling your weight or following a low-calorie diet, tuna in water would be a better choice. Tuna in water provides fewer calories while still retaining important nutrients like protein and omega-3 without increasing unnecessary fats. In conclusion, the decision to choose tuna in water or oil depends on your purpose and nutritional needs. If you are concerned about minimizing mercury, tuna in oil with proper draining is the optimal choice. However, if you want to control your calorie and fat intake, tuna in water is a suitable option. Regardless of which type you choose, always ensure you drain the excess oil from tuna to minimize health risks when consuming canned tuna. Solution: to enjoy canned tuna without worrying about the harmful effects of mercury, you need to choose the right type and eat it responsibly. First, choose skipjack tuna as it has the lowest mercury levels, making it safe for regular consumption. Second, read the product label carefully to know exactly which type of tuna is in the can. If the label reads light tuna or yellowfin, consume it in moderation. Also, don't forget to drain the excess oil when using tuna in oil, as this helps eliminate a portion of the mercury in the fish. Finally, diversify your diet by rotating between tuna and other lower mercury fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines. Controlling your weekly consumption is also essential for protecting your health.